Hi guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Well, I'm hanging in. For the first time in a long time, we were placed in a severe to moderate weather event. Well, this morning we got pelted. Lots of lightning, lots of thunder. Had some tweaks in the electric. And then in the afternoon, I was watching my favorite Jason, and we had another roll of storms coming through. That was really wicked. Now it cleared up enough that I don't have to be afraid that the electric will go out. So I decided I'm going to do the keys to the universe, number 9. Anytime that there is really bad weather forecasted, when the lights go out and my internet goes out, so does my video. It like pauses, and then so all the hard work that I do kiboshes. And I don't live stream because I like to stop when I hear really loud noises and other such things. So a lot of severe weather. So if you're in the DC, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, upstate New York, Connecticut areas, please be on the lookout. There are more storms headed our way. Which puts me in a lot of pain too. Gotta love that. Before I start, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And share. This book is incredible. Incredible. And my co-host is on my pillow in my room, sleeping her little self away. So we'll see if I have a co-host today or not. Chapter 34, the number 9. The 9th quote, got a quote. The 9th path is the pure intelligence, so called because it purifies enumerations. It proves and corrects the designing of their representation and disposes their unity with which they are combined without diminution or division, end quote. Sefer Yitzraya. Number 9 is primarily the number of initiation. As we have previously pointed out, quote, it is that most mysterious number which never changes. No matter how many multiplied or added, the sum of the resulting digits will always equal 9. 9 plus 9 equals 18 equals 9, or 9 times 9 equals 81 equals 9, etc. In it, all numbers are swallowed up to emerge once more in a new cycle. 10. In this sense, it has the same symbology as a serpent swallowing its own tail, namely the ending of a cycle. It is Kronos, or Saturn, devouring his children. Thus, it is truly the number of initiation. For while there is a minor initiation at each step in the soul life, no matter how you have multiplied sensation, experience, knowledge, or attainment, you cannot pass your great initiation until you have returned to that from which you started. Just as all multiples of 9 return to 9, end quote. As number 9 is the square of the first odd number, or Trinity 3, it represents deity descending into humanity and evolving through man until squared, or until through initiation man has manifested the divine in each of the 3 worlds. Number 9 is also the number of initiation because it is Trinity of Trinities, God, man, and nature, man, woman, and magnetic link between them, love, truth, and understanding. Each trinity of which, no matter how we deny or try to escape, it brings us face to face with deity in the three worlds and ultimately completes our great initiation. The ninth Sephra completes the third trinity, or the Trinity of Trinities. It is called in the Kabbalah El-Chai. I think I said that right. In Mighty Living One, also Shaddai, the foundation or basis, because only as this third trinity is unfolded and made the base for the other two, is the disciple ready to pass the great initiation. It is here that the mystic rose may be said to bloom in its heart. This rose is represented in a conventionalized form with 9 petals on the outer edge, 6 on the next row, and 3 around the center. Its angelic name is the flames. Every step by which we evolve from number 1 to the next is a minor initiation. But after each 3 such minor steps, there is a major initiation, which when passed emits us into a new cycle and realm of consciousness. At each minor initiation, we must face our personality, but at each major initiation, we must face our own soul or deity. These 3 major initiations, which complete the great initiation of number 9, are represented mathematically thus: 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. The cycle of nature or physical conditions, whose symbol is the staff, the cycle of man or the Christ force, which symbolizes the robe, the cycle of Superman or the higher self, whose symbol is the lighted candle or lamp of Hermes. The staff is the staff of the patriarchs, by the use of which we tread the narrow way of initiation leading to the heaven world. The robe is the robe of the Christ or the mantle of nature. When clothed in it, we are one with all manifested life. The lamp of Hermes is the light of wisdom, which lights the way of this Superman. Number 9 is that of divine reflections. It expresses the divine idea in all its abstract power, but it also signifies extravagance in belief and hence superstition and idolatry. For this reason, Hermes has made it the number of initiation, because the innate reigns over superstition, and by superstition and alone can advance through the darkness, learning upon his staff, enveloped in his mantle, and lighted by his lamp. The lamp of Trismegistus enlightens past, present, and future, lays bare the conscience of men, and it manifests in innermost recesses of the female heart. The lamp burns with a triple flame. The mantle is thricefold, and the staff is divided into 3 parts. Again, 3 times 3 equals 9. As we have already said, in 9, we find again the cipher with which we started, but with a straight line, the evolution of the lower 0 of the 8, the circle of the 8, completed and straightened out, descending from it. Later, when the initiation is completed, this line will take its place to the right of the cipher, making 10. This completing the cycle and making man more than man. According to Ephesius Levi, initiation is a preservative against the false lights of mysticism. It equips human reason with the relative value and proportional infallibility, connecting it with the supreme reason for a chain of analogies. Hence, the initiate knows no doubt, hopes, no absurd fears, because he has no irrational beliefs. He is acquainted with the extent of his power, and he can dare without danger. With him, therefore, to dare is to be able, He knows, he dares, and is silent. The initiates are the son, S-U-N, of God, and in the world of man hold the same relation as the stars, suns, due to the cosmos. Upon the physical plane, oh no, we have a missing page. I have a missing page. All right, let's make this make sense. Sorry, guys. I'm reading off like a scanned version of a book that's very, 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 very old. And there seems to be a missing page. So we're going to skip this paragraph. It's tiny, don't worry, not missing much. In response to this need, the Order of Christian Mystics have established a noonday silence and healing service, which is open to all, in which all are urged to unite in this service, just as the clock strikes 12. Strive to enter the great temple of silence, don the seamless robe of the Christian, and become one with your brothers and sisters throughout the world. As it is noon in some parts of the world all the time, and as our pupils in all parts of the world are sending their love and force to the center of the order, as the clock strikes 12, it makes a continual stream of force sweeping around the globe every moment of the day and night. Their love adds a touch of human sympathy and comfort to the great currents of spiritual force, which are poured into humanity from the higher realms through this order, and which sweep westward around the globe for the center, carrying light and love, health and prosperity to all who are in need, burning up the chaff and unfolding the blossoms of love and unselfishness in the hearts and lives of each one who correlates with them. All that is necessary to partake of this stream of spiritual force and love is mentally to unite yourself with the band of devout brothers and sisters who are joined hand in hand and heart to heart in an endless chain which resides around the globe, for the purpose of rendering unselfish service for the Christ to humanity. And as you give your force for the good of all, to the extent do you partake of the power and force of all. Each student should set aside at least 10 minutes during the day for silent meditation upon divine, and should faithfully keep this tryst with his or her high self. It is possible to make this time at noon. If this is not possible, at least send your thoughts of love and helplessness to the center at that time and contribute the force of your love and devotion to upliftment of all. This is an exercise in practical occultism, which has far-reaching effects. At the conclusion of the silent period, we mention the names of all who have sought the help of the order and mentally lay them in the radiant light of the Christ force in the mystic temple of silence, that they may receive a spiritual blessing. We will repeat each day for 1 week all the names sent to us, at the end of which time they will no longer be mentioned unless by special request. All who ask this special help should make a determined effort to correlate with all this hour and should report the experiences or results which follow. Long ere man passes his great initiation, he must consciously correlate his consciousness with those intelligent forces of nature brought to the earth at noon by the sun's direct rays, which Apollonius called Geni or Geni, but which are known to the Hindus as the Devas and to the Christians as the principalities and powers in heavenly places, whose function it is to guide the forces of the one life into expression through the various planes of evolution, both in nature and in man. Each hour has its presiding genius or power, the genius of the 9th hour, being concerned with gathering out of the three realms, nature, man, and God, all the forces which the first life has perfected, initiated, and with them laying a square foundation upon which a new and more perfect cycle, 10, can be erected. Hence, ere man can pass number 9, he must understand how not only to harmonize with the forces of nature, but also how consciously to direct them. This will he work with the genius of the 9th hour. God works in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. It is a step towards this great achievement when we set aside a few moments each day at noon to try to gather the Christ force, which in nature is sun force, and to send it forth in blessing and healing to the world. If something of the reverence for initiation taught by Apollonius was incalculated to modern students, their spiritual unfoldment would be markedly quickened. So many today, with irrelevant tongues, talk guiltily for, sorry guys, this is a messed up scanned page, of the many so-called initiations through which they have passed, while all the time their very I'm not even going to go there, and their lack of real understanding, power, and helplessness. So like something spilled on the page and there's no way I can make that word out. Not because I can't read it, it's just literally all grossed. Proves to those who the law that such bolsters have never passed a major initiation. For since number 9 is the number of silence and creativeness, of working with nature's forces, the initiate can always be recognized by his silent power. He never babbles, for he knows that in nature, the babbling brook has no still depths in which the mystery of a new life can be brought forth. It also shows that such boasters have little understanding of what even a minor initiation signifies. Such claims by their authors open to the suspicion that they have been deluded either by their own ambitions or have been deceived by astral impostors, or both, or that at best their experience was but the astral ceremony of a minor initiation, which was to work out later on in physical life. This illustrates the folly of such claimants trying to make a great impression on their hearers. The danger of boasting concerning such mighty experiences of divine realization is that the great law, under the guidance of the lords of karma, must make the claimant prove every assertion. The law, as stated in the Bible, is for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by the words thou shalt be condemned. Hence, a babbler will soon find himself plunged into troubles and tests for which he is unprepared, and will perhaps wonder at his uncommon run of ill luck, as he may call it, coming at a time when, according to his flattering astral guides and the assurance of his ambition, he should be enjoying the fruits of his exceptional worthiness. Be humble if thou wouldest attain to wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered. It should be clear understood that the initiation occurs first in the higher realms and then gradually descends to manifest in the physical world, thus following the law of manifestation. Having taken this step alone, apparently in the darkness, the pupil will be brought to the initiation which he demand will surely bring about. He will meet this initiation either unconsciously through natural worldly events, however, which he will have no difficulty in connecting with this great step, or consciously in the higher astral. The experiences met with all this period will not consist of a few great soul-stirring events, which when once past entitled him to admission, but will consist of events which will bring to him a repetition of experiences which will force him to face himself and bring to his consciousness every secret and open fault, events which will force him to gaze into the eyes of the self that he has created out of the personality which his real self or ego has been created to train and function through the self buildup out of the thought forms he has created. There can be no dodging the issue or turning back from these events, for it is mathematical law that he cannot pass on until he has acquired strength to conquer these faults one by one as they have presented to him. If he refuses or is unable to conquer, his soul must wait and work in the lower orders until it grows stronger and until cyclic opportunity for advancement is afforded. The soul may experience and pass an initiation in the higher realms, 5th and 6th of the astral world, and some realization of the event may be brought down into the waking conscious in the form of a well-remembered dream or psychic experience, but it may be many years ere the initiation descends into manifestation and is worked out on the physical plane. For the same tests which the soul successfully passed in the higher realms are presented to the unsuspecting personality by life itself. Generally, the dream ends ere the final step is taken, leaving the dreamer uncertain of the end, because the end is not decided until by his own free will he has chosen to manifest it in his daily life. The consummation of the initiation on the physical plane is often pushed back and delayed, sometimes for a whole incarnation, by the refusal of the personality to follow the guidance of the higher self, or by its refusal to face the recognized and strive to conquer the events in life as they are presented to him day by day by the great initiator. All depends upon how the personality meets these tests. Life brings these tests upon the great aspirant of his weakest points, but since he has already passed them in the higher realms, he has the strength and soul power to conquer them, if he will allow the soul power to manifest through him. Let not him that girdeth on his harness boast himself as he that putteth it off. As illustrated in the case of Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, in the story referred to above, the very boasting brings the battle upon the aspirant long before it would have otherwise descended and before the intermediate steps have prepared him to meet it. But until the inner experience has really descended into the physical world and conditions analogous to those which the dream or vision symbolically outpictured have actualized into life's problems, can be said to have passed his tests. Such occurrences are not fables nor mere in imagination, but actual life experiences. The candidate must meet them without being told that they pertain to his initiation, except as his own higher self endeavors to prepare his waking consciousness for the experiences which are to follow. In reality, all are warned and prepared interiorly, but alas, all do not remember or heed or attach due importance to such warnings. After the great initiation has been exemplified in this life, the victorious candidate will consciously meet his initiator face to face and receive the assurance that he has indeed been admitted into the brotherhood. In occult stories pertaining to the initiation, this mystical experience is usually treated in an allegorical or symbolic manner. The candidate is made to pass through the most fantastic experiences, the most harrowing and gruesome trials of his courage, faith, and obedience. Such stories are purposely intended to stimulate the desire for the initiation, yet are blinds, which do not reveal to the profane any of its secrets. The candidate may pass such fantastic experiences in the astral world, but ere he is truly an initiate, he must meet in real life that which they symbolize. Remember, the true initiator and initiation give real balance, real power, and real spiritual growth, which will manifest in the daily life. Chapter 35, the number 9 continued. Quote, it is on this knowledge that the program of the mysteries and of initiations were based, hence the construction of the pyramid, their everlasting record, an indestructible symbol of these mysteries and initiations on earth, as the course of the stars in heaven, the secret doctrine, Blavatsky. Among the disciples of Apollonius and other ancient philosophers, many mystic potencies were ascribed to number 9. It was frequently worn as an amulet, one method being that of having it engraved upon a sardonyx stone set in a silver ring. Such a ring was worn upon the second finger of the left hand, the satin finger, as a sign of having passed a certain initiation. In such a case, it was said to possess the power of making the wearer invisible at will. The ring, however, had to be presented to the successful candidate at the time of the initiation, after having been made under the special condition necessary. Many curious and authentic tales are told even today of the mysterious power of invisibility possessed by certain highly advanced individuals. The power of number 9 was also said to prevail against plagues and fevers, but since all amulets, talisman, etc., derive their powers largely from the currents of force focused in them by the will of the maker and thought power of those who believe in them, it is quite understandable that those great souls who were working among the densely ignorant and superstitious masses during the Middle Ages found it helpful and admissible to have such objects upon which to focus the attention, belief, and thought power of their followers. Nevertheless, each number has a potency of its own, which is inherent in that which it represents. A sardonyx stone also has its own magnetic and other mystical potent powers, as do all jewels and minerals. The Oriental sardonyx consists of 3 distinct layers: a black base, a white intermediate zone, and a deeper superficial layer of reddish brown. Thus, it is said to typify the 3 cardinal virtues necessary for a true initiate: the black of his unmanifested possibilities, which he is to unfold and express; the white of chastity and purity of body, mind, and heart; and the brown of the humility, which puts aside all personality, mixed with the red of Mars, which gives the courage to face martyrdom, if necessary, rather than to reveal the sacred mysteries of initiation to the profane. Also, the setting of this talisman is silver, the metal of the moon, gives to it the power of the intuition and psychic unfoldment. Number 9 was also said to bring health and long life if carved upon any kind of amulet and worn upon the bosom. But wisdom and an understanding of the laws of health and power, of will and thought, will prove the best amulet for this purpose of the present day. Plato, the greatest pupil of Pythagoras, lays great stress upon the importance of number 9. By the power of his will, he is said to have also ordered his life, that he passed away at the square of 9, or 9 times 9 equals 81 years of age, in full vigor of intellect and power. It was his death occurring at that particular age which was largely responsible for bringing 81 into disrepute and causing it to be dreaded by his later and uninitiated followers. Being the last of the digits, number 9 is a symbol of that which brings things to an end and prepares for new manifestations, just as the intrauterine life of a child is brought into a close at the 9 months, and the new cycle of life begins with the breath of number 8 entering the lungs at birth. So does initiation sum up all the lessons learned through past experiences and initiates with consciousness of the candidate into a new life. It was at the 9th hour that Jesus is represented as breathing his last upon the cross. And we are told that from the 6th hour, from 9 a.m. until noon, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour, from noon until 3 p.m. This allegorically represents the initiation of every true disciple of the Christ. For as long as the personality hangs on the cross from the time of the Christ, number 6, to conceive in the heart, the 6th hour, until the initiation is completed, the 9th hour, there is darkness over the earth or human understanding. And only at the 9th hour, when the personality gives up the ghost or resigns its life to the Father in heaven and cries with a loud voice, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit, is the veil between the two worlds rent and the real birth into the higher divine consciousness accomplished. The 6th hour is the Christ hour, the period during which the rays of the sun are struggling towards complete expression at the zenith. And just as in nature from 9 a.m. until noon, so the disciple during the 6th hour, he is striving to let the spiritual sun dominate and reach the zenith of his life. From noon until number 3, while the light seems to be waning, in reality, it is passing into the mysterious depths of nature and being alchemically transmuted into new growth. And at the number 3, the divine number, the indrawing is complete. During the 11th hour, or from 3 to 6 p.m., nature is resting, and during the 4 watches of the night, a new day is taking form in the womb of nature. As the 4 divisions of the day lay the foundations of initiation, so the 4 watches of night lay the foundation of a new day, number 10. In Greek mythology, number 9 was consecrated to the music of the spheres and to the muses. There were 9 muses, daughters of Jupiter and Memory. Each were assigned to preside over one particular department of literature, art, or science. Calliope resided over epic poetry, Clio over history. All right, I'm going to butcher all these names, and I don't give a shit. Eutrip over lyric poetry, Melpomene over tragedy, and it's also in like this crazy script. Terp is core over choral dance, Polynema over sacred song, Erato over love poetry, Urania over astronomy, and Thala over comedy. Again, 9 combines the 9 graces who preside over the joys of life, the banquet and the dance, the 3 fates who spun the thread of destiny, and the 3 furies who punished by their secret strings the crimes of those who escaped or defied public justice, into Trinity of Trinities, which illustrates the tests and trials of initiation. For the candidate must prove his mastery over the social pleasures of the graces, must courageously take from the fates his 3-fold thread of destiny and meet with the unruffed inequity of the 3 furies and accomplish the karmic adjustment of his secret sins. The great mysteries began on the 6th day of the month and continued for a period of 9 days, during which the initiation of candidates took place. Number 9 played an important part in the life of the Romans. They celebrated a feast of purification for all male infants on the 9th day after birth. This rite was called Mundina. They buried their dead on the 9th day and also held a feast called Novenella every 9th year in memory of the dead. The Roman Catholic Church still holds the feast of the Nuvings, a service of prayer and devotion celebrated on 9 successive days, during which the worshipers prayed for such special blessing as may be indicated by the condition of the church or the needs of the times. But always the idea is to pray the soul out of purgatory. There can be little doubt as to the efficiency of such a ceremony, for if a number of persons pray earnestly for 9 consecutive days for anything upon which they all agree and concentrate, they will surely bring into manifestation, be it a blessing or a curse. The Jews were forbidden to wear either the talith or the phylacteries on the 9th of the month, AB, until the close of the day, and they were strictly enjoined to spend the entire day in fasting and repentance, for they believed that no good thing could come of any work done on the 9th day. It is claimed by certain authors that number 9 pertains to the black magic and sorcery, as well it may, for when the candidate fails to pass his initiation, there is a temptation to use such powers as he has already won for selfish purposes. We find number 9 alluded to the connection of Shakespeare and Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 3, where we find it conspicuous in the spells of the sisters 3. Quote, weary 7 nights, 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pine, the weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up. End quote. Number 9 was dreaded by the candidate who had not mastered fear. For the initiation, all the evil influences of man's lower nature come up before him to tempt or appall him. But number 9 is also the number which gives to the brave and true knight the courage to dare all such conditions, as well as the wisdom to transmute them into good. We often meet with number 9 in old myth and fairy tales, where if not connected with black magic, it looked upon the enchanter's number. In the story of Kilwell and Alwyn, the castle was constructed with 9 gates and 9 portals, besides which sat 9 dogs. There was also an inexhaustible basket from which it is said that thrice 9 men at a time could each find the meat that he most desired. King Arthur is said to have fought with an enchanted pig for 9 days and 9 nights. There are but 2 references to initiation, as are many other seemingly meaningless fairy tales, for the pig represents man's lower animal nature and its appetites, which candidate for knighthood or initiation must conquer. The Tartars hold number 9 in great reverence. It is said that the great Khan was told in a vision to go to his certain mountain overlooking the sea, and there kneel 9 times toward the east. He did so, and the sea separated and exposed a pathway 9 feet broad, over which all the Tartar hosts passed dry shod. This is but another version of the myth of the passage of the Israelites through the Red Sea in a similar fashion. Both these myths symbolize a desire of the soul, after hearkening to the voice of the lawgiver, to come out and away from the land of spiritual darkness, Egypt, where it and all its faculties, the children of Israel, have been in bondage to King Desire, Pharaoh, and the sensations of the lower self. They both refer to the first conscious step that led toward initiation. The Masons had an order called the Elect of the 9. in which 9 roses, 9 lights, and 9 knocks enter into the ceremonies. This degree is consecrated to bravery, devotedness, and patriotism. All of these are summed up in the simple mandate: protect the oppressed against oppression and devote yourself to the honor and interests of your country. This degree is also inoculates self-reunification and self-control, both necessary qualities for initiation. While the Masons generally may not place a great spiritual significance upon initiation, as does the mystic, nevertheless, very term, the elective 9, refers to those who have passed certain initiations. The number 9 regular pictures of the Universal Druid Church are as follows: the naming of the timekeeping priest by the temple and the robe, his ear being shown in front of the Celtic name O, the picture of the ape pointed out his name, the blazing sun on his breast containing the face of the human deity, the serpent which was also worn on the robes of the Celtic Druids, the 2 doves used in biblical sacrifice, the belt which named all the Druid belt priests, the feathered head of the chief to name the rank of the high priest, the 2 8-spoked wheels of the universal use in naming the solar god and his car. Milton represents Satan and his rebellious angels as requiring 9 days to fall from heaven. Milton, like all inspired poets, is mystical in spite of the orthodox twists he gives in his great conceptions. Lucifer, instead of being a fallen angel, was one of the Elohim who consciously descended into the realms of human consciousness to bring to mankind the divine light, and in his aspects of Satan or Saturn to become the great initiator. Number 9 is the greatest single number of the master digit because it manifests the ultimate power of one place. 2 9s, 99, express the ultimate power of 2 places. 3 9s, the ultimate power of 3 places. The number of the manifested cosmos is therefore a series of 9s extending to infinity. In other words, only by passing the initiation of number 9 can the cycle of any manifestations, dispensation, or circle of 360, which adds up to 9, be completed. The mystical number of the 144,000 saints gathered from the 12 tribes of Israel, which closes the cycle of the dispensation, also adds up to 9. This is but another expression of the unity of all mankind in Adam, whose number is 144, equal 9. Quote, the cycle of initiation was reproduction in miniature of the great series of cosmic changes to which astronomers have given the name of the tropical or sidereal year. Just as the close of the cycle of the sidereal year, 25,868 years. Sorry, guys, I just had a light bulb go off. The heavenly bodies return to the same relative positions as they occupied at the onset, so at the close of the cycle of initiation, the inner man has retained the pristine state of divine purity and knowledge from which he set out on his cycle of terrestrial incarnation. The digits 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5 + 6 + 7 + 8 + 9 equal 45 equal 9. Therefore, 9 is called the basis of the unit value of all numbers and the key to the menstruation of all chances. Divide any number by 9 if there is no remainder. The digits of the number is so divided will add up to 9. In other words, the sum of the digits exactly divisible by 9 equals 9. For instance, 7,641 is exactly divisible by 9, and 7,641 equal 18 equal 9. When dividing a number by 9, if there is a remainder, the number will add up the same digit as a remainder. For example, 921 divided by 9 leaves a remainder of 3, and 921 equal 12 equal 3. Number 9 is also reproduces itself in all multiples, thus 7 times 9 equals 63 equals 9. 4 times 9 equals 36 equals 9. Added to itself or its multiplies, 9 also remains thus. 9 plus 9 equal 18 equal 9. 27 plus 9 equal 36 equal 9. But added to any other number, it is lost thus. 9 plus 8 equals 17 equals 8. 28 plus 9 equals 37 equal 10. An example of the persistent number 9 is seen in the following, and it shows the Star of Solomon. The sum of any 2 points joined by a line through the center equals 9, and added to the central point equals 18 equals 9. In the philosophy of Henry Cornelius Agrippa, who wrote extensively concerning numbers and magic early in the 16th century, some extremely interested mathematical relations involving number 9 are given. Take any number, reverse it to obtain a second number, subtract one number from the other, and the digits of the remainder will always, by addition, reduce into 9, and the remainder itself will always be 9, or a multiple of 9. This operation is a spiral movement of the numbers employed, and the 9 therefore represents a circle. An eternal spiral motion may properly represent by the endless row of 9s, each 9 symbolizing one complete revolution of spiral movement. By reason of these properties of 7 and 9, to numerically interpret infinite number, a lot of 9s and the infinity symbol, is to divide by number 7, the interpreter of nature. This gives us again the number of initiate evolution. There are 9 points to a cube, its 8 corners and its center, the only point where its 7 dimensions intersect each other. The cube itself is an ego or 1. This 1 plus its 9 points show the cube is to be raised 1 or 10. By dividing the raised 1 by its 7 dimensions, we obtain a very large sum number. This number 142,857 also equals 27 equals 9. Quote, the lines of the square show eternal rotation only. The columns show eternal transposition only, and the digits are transposed that each one always adds into 9, which is coordinately placed digits. The whole number of 9 is the square is 333,333. The total of the square is 2,999,997, in which 7 goes exactly, oh my God, with these numbers, 428,571 times, and 9, of course, 333,333 times. Just a whole bunch of numbers. A surprising series of rotations which result when the figures 12,345,679 are multiplied by 9, and the multiples of 9 given by the German mathematician Albert Nuremberg as follows. And it just results in that number times 9 times 18 times 27 times 36 times 45 times 54, 63, 72, and 81, and it goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9. Yeah. Chapter 36. The ninth letter, Teth. Quote, he pronounced Teth predominant in hearing, crowned it, combined it, and formed with it Leo in the universe, AB, August in the year, and the left kidney in man, end quote. Sefer Yitzra'ah. The ninth Hebrew letter, Teth, T, is one of the simple letters and is connected with the zodiacal sign Leo, the heart of the grand man. The actual meaning of Teth is a serpent, and as 9 is the number of initiation, as initiate is called a naga, or serpent of wisdom. Another reason for the application of this term is that it just as the serpent changes and renews his outer skin, so the initiate changes and renews his personality. That is, he shakes off and emerges from the limitations of the old personality as he becomes an initiate. Number 9 also completes and shakes off the old digits, which might be compared to the personality, and emerges in the new number 10. As with the serpent, however, the new skin or personality is built up by the digestion and assimilation of all that was contained or experienced in the former, so that the second cycles of the digits 10, 20, 30, etc. are the same as the first, but with the power of 10 added to each. And just as a newly emerged serpent is the old serpent grown longer and more perfect, so does the initiate retain the old but perfected personality with the unfolded powers added. For in his long pilgrimage towards the ninth gate, he has little by little transmuted the old body, and the atom by atom has cast off the seeds of decay and death until now in its glorious body of immortal life, for he is overcome death. The hieroglyphic meaning of Teth is a roof, the idea being that of a covering or protection. Another meaning of the letter is El Shai, the mighty living one, for it is the force of the one life manifesting in man as the electrodynamic force, the Kundalini or serpent power, which when lifted up and dominated by the spiritualized will, makes of man an initiate. In this sense, Teth indicates the only as well have passed the great initiation of number 9 and have become wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Can we consciously express in the power of the mighty living one? The sentence quoted above is another allusion to the mystic initiation, for the candidate has 2 great tasks to perform in his physical body. He can gain perfect control over it, and without the great initiation cannot be passed, namely the control of the serpent power and the attainment of the wisdom it brings. For only as this power under control of the spiritualized will is lifted up and guided until it reaches the sacred center between the eyes can rationalize, be obtained, and candidate become a wise as a serpent. Another task is to find that center which the body, where the bird of life has its nesting place, the heavenly dove whose head is wisdom, whose body is humility, whose right wing is life immortal, and whose left wing is divine love. And having found this nest, obtain sweet rest between the wings of that which is not born nor dies. Among the precepts found in the voice of the silence, written for the guidance of those who are nearing the ninth gate, and not applicable to nor intended for the guidance of those not definitely seeking initiation, we find the following. Bestride the bird of life, if thou wouldest know. Let not the heavenly born break from the universal parent soul, but let the fury power retire into the innermost chamber. Then from the heart that power shall rise into the sixth, the middle region, the place between thine eyes. This universal parent soul is the same as the mighty living one, or the fury power in the universal aspect, or as we would say, the great creative Christ force. Hence, the main point in the occult development is not to break away from this Christ power, which is the mediator between man's personality and his divine self, and the redeemer of the lower nature. As we develop the power, we blend with and come under the conscious protection of the mighty living one of the cosmos, who now lives in and acts through us as our protector and sustainer, instead of merely overshadowing and influencing us as the earlier steps. The lesson to be learned from the bird of life is that of poise. Just as in initiation, there must be an absence of all fear and a quiet resting between the equilibrated forces of love and life. So must the soul rest between the two wings of the bird of life. Hence, to bestride the bird of life means to be master of life, and like the bird, be able to rise at will into the higher realms in thought. We can never be a master of life until we have gained the equilibrium, so that no matter what disturbs us, we can rise above it. We must hold the picture of ourselves fearlessly standing on the back of the great bird, holding the reins and guiding it, so absolutely poised that we and the bird are one. Another meaning of the Teth as a roof is that as we advance spiritually and approach our initiation, we develop a center called the Hindus, the Siddhis center, as the center develops in the forms of real protecting roof of glory over the head of the aspirant, from which there pours down a golden rain of force like a fine golden mist, which forms the veil of protection. It is the banner of love held over the saints by the bridegroom, spoken of in the Song of Solomon. He brought me to the banqueting house, number 9, and his banner over me was love. In all pictures of the saints, we see the banner depicted as a circle of gold or a halo of light placed horizontally just above the head. This should not be confused with the nimbus, which is placed in the vertical plane and represents the scintillating colors of aura. This banner and veil of protection can be consciously developed through certain advanced exercises, which are given to the candidate only by his guru or teacher. The later Teth is also connected with cosmic electricity. Quote, the ancients represented it cosmic electricity by a serpent, for Fadmahat hisses as he glides hither and thither in zigzags. The Kabbalah figures it with the Hebrew letter Tith, whose symbol is the serpent, which played such a predominant part in the mysteries. Its universal number is 9, for it is the 9th letter of the alphabet and the 9th door. It is the magical agent par excellence and is designated in Hermetic philosophy, life infused into primordial matter, the essence that composes all things and the spirit that determines their form, end quote. In short, cosmic electricity is the initiator of matter. As Tith is connected with the sign Leo, the heart, it is only by overcoming the forces of the heart and making Leo the lion tame and obedient to the will that the little Christ child, who is now growing stronger and stronger day by day, may lead him and make him lie down with the lamb. Only thus can we pass the initiation of number 9. Yet the lion which has become tame and obedient must have lost nothing of his strength or vitality. This is symbolized in the myth of Samson, who, when he slew the lion, found in the carcass much honey. So when the candidate has slain the passion aspect of the heart forces, which rave like a lion, he finds the honey, which is both sweetness and food. The ninth letter also expresses the idea of wisdom, for the protection of roof must be the result of the wisdom of the initiate himself. When he has reached this step, we are told that he must lay down every weapon, both of offense and defense. We can no longer seek protection from power of his strength, nor can we ask that any being outside of himself shall protect him. Yet he who has attained into wisdom, his protection from every ill. In okay, can't pronounce it, and I'm not going to try. Quote, wisdom is a defense, wisdom strengthening the wise man more than 10 mighty men. Wisdom is better than the strength. When we have obtained his wisdom, we have learned the lesson of the ninth letter, and we are ready to face the great initiator. Yes, I'm not even going to attempt to butcher words or sound stupid because I can't pronounce things because my teeth, not doing it. So if you want to figure it out, go find the book and read it. Yep, just certain things I'm not going to even try to attempt anymore because I look and sound stupid when I do. And I get criticized for trying like a human being because we all have faults, and as if no one has ever not pronounced things properly. I just really can't like get certain words out of my mouth. Even the ones I know, just can't project them properly. So I am not going to butcher them. Not doing it. And next is the tarot card, which I'm going to get in a minute. So with modern tarot, there's a big problem, and we saw it the last time. The card for 8 was justice, but it just shows up as strength. The 9th card, which isn't really the 9th card, is the Hermit. So we're just going to fly with it. We're going to go with it. So take a look at the Hermit. That's me. Not really, but I'm a hermit. A wise old soul from the galactics. The 9th tarot card, the Hermit. The 9th card of the tarot is called the Hermit. In it, we find expressed all the ideas of initiation. For here, we have a picture of an old man who, in spite of the fact that he walks, he learns upon a staff. He leans upon a staff, nevertheless is strong and upright with eyes wide open and diminished and undimmed, looking steadily ahead. He is wrapped in a long mantle, and his uplifted right hand carries a lantern. The symbology of this card is plain. The age of the Hermit denotes not senility, but the strength and vigor of maturity, hence experience, desecration, and wisdom. Desecration. That makes no sense. I'll input the word discretion. Discretion, not desecration. The staff upon which he leans is the staff of the patriarchs, or that divine strength upon which he has learned to lean. It is the power of the one life which every initiate must gain through complete mastery of the forces of nature. It is also the magic wand with which he performs his miracles, and by whose use, he proves to the world that he has passed the great initiation of number 9. It is the power of the one life, like a staff running through and supporting all. It is Aaron's rod of power, which will never fail him. Aaron symbolizing the priestly attributes through which the initiate serves before the throne of the great law. It is the shepherd's crook, which he can guide the straying and uplift the fallen. It is that which he has tested and proved, for during all his long and toilsome journey to the gate of initiation, which now stands open before him, it has never failed him. The rod has 7 knots or rings, which are 7 steps of purification. The light lamp he holds high above his head is the light of knowledge and the lamp of truth, or the word. Thy word shall be a light to my path and lamp unto my feet. It is the inner illumination of one who has come off victor. Just as in his earlier steps, the light shone above him as a star of initiation, which he had followed over deserts, morasses, and desolate regions without losing sight of it, even though at times the dark mists of earth hid it from view. So it is still the light from the one master, his own immortal self, of which we read, the light from the one master, the one unfading light of spirit, shoots its engulfant beams on the disciple from the very first. Its ray thread through the thick, dark clouds of matter. Now here, now there, these rays illuminate it like sun sparks light the earth through the thick foliage of the jungle growth. But, O disciple, unless the flesh is passive, head coal and soul as firm and pure as flaming diamond, the radiance will not reach the chamber, the center of spiritual consciousness. Its sunlight will not warm the heart. The hermit has let the light reach the chamber of his heart. He has also made it shine in the chamber or center of spiritual consciousness. Hence the symbol of the light being placed in the lantern, no longer fitful like a distant star, but in its conscious grasp, ready to guide him in every step of the way. The mantle which envelopes him partially hides the light lamp in the mantle of discretion, with which the initiate must enwrap himself and shield the full light of his lamp from the eyes of the profane. For every soul must find the light within himself, ere he can recognize it in another, or even bear its full engulfness. This card balances the 7th and 8th cards, the victor in his chariot and the mother power of the love, which holds the scales of justice. It embraces the protection of the initiates who, although few in numbers are compared with the great mass of humanity, are still the protectors of humanity. They stand like a guardian wall around mankind, like watchmen in a tower, their lamps held high. They are ready to fly to help and succor every child of man who cries out for the light, and help if the light and help are really needed. But even this is given wisely, for there are cases in which it is best that the child should learn to help itself, even as a loving mother may wisely allow her babies to cry itself to sleep, rather than fly to it when she knows that it needs nothing but sleep. They remain upon the hilltops throughout the long nights of spiritual darkness, like faithful shepherds watching over their sleeping sheep, with their staff ready to reach out to the one who is slipping and falling, its crook ready to lift one who is torn and bleeding, and their mantle of charity ready to enwrap those who are suffering from the bitter storms of passion and desire. But dear student, there are ever wrapped in the mantle of discretion, hence only those who dare, do, and keep silent can ever see the light of the hermit's lamp. The 9th commandment, quote, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, end quote. Exodus. Since 9 is the number of initiation, two pertinent questions at once arise concerning the Stoic interpretation of this commandment. First, who is thy neighbor? It's a good question. 2, what relation does false witness bear to initiation? The Bible description of the man who fell upon thieves and was rescued by the Samaritan answers the first question. Thy neighbors is anyone whom the great law brings directly into your path, who can help you if you are willing to take note of his needs. The question as to what false witness has to do with initiation will bear careful analysis. The soul is ready to bear the great initiation only when it can face itself and see all things in their true relations. Over the first gateway to the path, where it is written in letters of gold, men, know thyself. And when the outward comprehension of the injunction has been gained at the very last gate, the neophyte once more faces the same sentence, but now written in letters of living fire within its quivering flesh, man, know thyself. If we would meet the final test of initiation unparalleled, we must accept the precept and strive diligently to obey it. As the disciples and servants of the true self, our senses must be trained not to bear false witness. To do this, we must not accept as final the reports of our senses until they have been checked up and verified by our own reason, experience, judgment, and discrimination, illuminated by our intuition. Few persons can bear to have the searchlight of the truth turned upon their own lives within themselves. They are wont to bear false witness by making excuses and blaming conditions or other persons for the results of their own shortcomings. At one extreme, they bear false witness to the form of exaggerated humility, scourging themselves with the scorpion whips of self-containment, looking upon themselves as worms of the dust, unworthy or incapable of lofty attainments. At the other extreme are those who live in a perfect glamour of the senses, accepting as right and proper whatever report the senses make. They forever focus the limelight of self-approval and admiration upon themselves. They are never posing, dwelling on their good points, flattering themselves to themselves, excusably, every shortcoming with some flattering delusion. They interpret every phase of life as a stage setting to bring them into more favorable notice. In fact, they are forever acting a part which they have assumed so long that they almost believe in it themselves and vainly hope that the world believes it to be their true character. All this is bearing false witness to the truth. If by any chance such persons should demand to be brought into the hall of initiation, there be confronted, sorry guys, I don't know what that was. Brought in the hall of initiations, there be confronted with the personality that they are manifesting. They would be appalled at the sight and refuse to admit that it was their own creation. For the first time, they would awake to find their pose revealed that show over no audience present but themselves and their great initiator, with all glamour of the senses stripped from reality and standing face to face with the self they have manifested. These are the ones who fly shrieking in madness from the sight of their dweller. This is the truth backed of the many tales of the terrifying experiences encountered during initiation. For ere this step can be taken, the soul must face that which has created by its witnessing, rather true or false in everyday life. That we may not bear false witness against our neighbor, we need to reach the point where we do not bear false witness against ourselves. Then we are able to see clearly, and consequently we can help our neighbor. While we should not contemplate or dwell upon them, to shut our eyes to truths that are unpleasant or to imperfections within ourselves, which we know exist, is refusing to recognize truth, hence is bearing false witness. While we should mention and emphasize and dwell upon the good in our brothers and sisters, it is surely bearing false witness to shut our eyes to their shortcomings and say that all in them is good. That we may bear no false witness, we must learn to seek out the true motives, both in ourselves and in others. Then we will find that we will no longer condemn others because we will realize how much we ourselves fallen short of our manifesting the ideals we have chosen. We will see that every soul is upon some step of the path, some of which we may have passed. And if we have trained our senses not to bear false witness, we will know what motive was back of the effect which our senses report. And by thus working from the underlying cause rather than from the effect, we will be able to remedy any failure in ourselves and be a help to others. Thus, the 9th commandment is given as a preparation for initiation. Strive always to see clearly and bear true witness. Then, when you face your great initiation, there will be nothing in yourself that has been hidden, denied, or covered up. Hence, there will be nothing that can frighten you. For the great initiator holds out the rod of power. He cries with mighty voice, "Thou shalt not bear false witness, either against thyself or thy neighbor." And only as we are able to meet this test can we grasp the magic rod. Sending each and every one of you love and light. That was the number 9. Woo! A lot there, but a lot of good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. Storms are still coming through. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share. Yes, I go off on rants here and there in the middle of things because it's frustrating. I'm having a lot of teeth problems today as well. Gotta love that. I hope everybody on the East Coast pays attention to their storm apps or your weather channel because it keeps coming and going here and it's rough. Be safe, be seen. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day and week. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.